All right, our adventure, our journey of doing up an old Bertram project boat and transforming it into one of the world's fastest 23-footers continues. If you've just discovered this video, dogs, we did one last time where we met the boat that we're doing up.
Yes, indeed. So go back and feel free to find that episode one. Probably makes more sense to watch them in order, I guess. But
yes.
As you say, Hardy, we bought a 23-foot Bertram or Caribbean flybridge boat, which for us was a big boat, and the plan was to fit it up with what was at the time the recently released Yamaha 350 V8 outboard, the biggest outboard in all of the world. So we bought this boat. It had a sort of bit dodgy Mercruiser stern drive in it.
Yeah.
Today we're going to start off by running the numbers on that, something which I think, you know, still has quite a deal of relevance today.
Well, it does. There are plenty of boats out there with that very similar or same Mercruiser stern drive in it.
Yep.
And what we did, because we wanted to do a comparison, we wanted to say, well, how's the outboard going to go compared to the stern drive? To do that, obviously, we need a set of numbers for the stern drive, and that's what we did on this day. We got to know the boat. We showed it to our man from Yamaha who came down.
Yep.
And he brought with him a bunch
of instruments.
Yes, very high-tech instruments for the time too. He had a handheld GPS. Can you imagine that? And and an acceleration V-box.
Yes.
And we cut fuel lines and we hooked them up onto some sort of fuel measure, and off we went.
Because I guess the reality of this is, would you take a 23-foot Bertram, a boat we paid 30 grand for? The engine cost $41,000,
yes.
You know, the replacement outboard. So you need to
before
know,
you even start, you're at $71,000 boat and engine, and then you haven't even done anything to the boat.
are we going to A, get a performance benefit, and B, get an economy benefit?
Yes.
So to know any of that, we had to run the numbers on the stern drive. All right, now science is a big part of the Beast project, and for the science, Gibbo, you've assembled a large collection of instruments. Walk us through them.
Okay, we've got the handheld GPS, which is going to give us our speed over ground.
Yep.
We've got the Yamaha non-calibrated fuel meter, which is going to give us our litres per hour.
Yep.
And now what we've got here is the V-box monitor, which is going to measure our acceleration graph. So what we can do is compare the Mercruiser with the outboard when it goes on.
Okay. And also in your hand there,
we're also going to monitor sound
Yep.
from the correct distance of the helmsman's position, so we can see the difference between noise of a stern drive compared to outboard.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're measuring the stern drive through all those parameters, and when we put the big V8 on it, we'll measure it again.
Let's go for it.
1,000.
92.5.
11. 93.4. 1,500. That's 93.9. So very scientific this. Basically you drive the boat along, in this case we're on a tidal river, so we'll have to do it twice, but at each 100 RPM interval across the entire rev range measure speed, fuel burn in litres per hour and cockpit noise level. Now you might have noticed at the beginning of this test we had the engine cover open, and that's not fair. Don't worry, we did close it, and the noise numbers are not dodgy. Our stern drive was prone to playing up because it had some electrical gremlins due to it being sunk a bit sometime in its life, but for the duration of this test it did run perfectly, didn't miss a beat, and actually sounded pretty tough. Go the beast. Oh boy! So fuel and speed data, we've got the V-box. This is, what is this?
What we're going to do now is this is the truth box. We're
Yep.
going to go as fast as we can, driving the boat at its optimum speed. So
Yep.
starting off trimmed in, as we get onto plane, we're going to trim it out. And what this is going to do is create a graph of speed over time.
Okay, so this is performance. Grunt, got Hart on the throttles upstairs. I will be performing the trimming job downstairs.
Trim it up. We have to drive it like we stole it.
Drive it like you stole it,
Drive it like
Hardy.
we stole it.
So with the Mercruiser 350 mag, trolling speed is 1500 RPM, 6.67 knots, burning just under 11 litres of fuel per hour, and economy rate of 1.15 kilometres travelled for every litre of fuel consumed. Noise at the helm, 96.2 decibels. According to a website called the Noise Centre, that's about the same as an electric drill. Economical cruise speed is 23 knots at 3100 RPM. Here we're burning 36 litres an hour and covering 1.23 kilometres for each litre of fuel. Noise at the helm is 103 dB. At wide open throttle, we're pulling 4,700 RPM, sucking down 94 litres per hour. Top speed is pretty respectable, 37 knots, with an economy rate of 0.73 k's per litre. Noise is up to 115 dB, which is as loud, apparently, as a rock concert. All in all, though, when working, the Mercruiser performs pretty well. Change locations.
Yes, I'm going to put those in the sink because anyone can be grubbed.
That's exactly right.
Keep things ship shape on a boat. So there are, the numbers which we have got from 10 years ago, 11 years ago for the Mercruiser. Interesting reading or not?
And yeah, I think interesting because, they're kind of not bad enough.
Yep.
If you looked at that and you thought, oh, God, it's got a big old V8 in it.
Yes.
It will burn a mountain of gas. They're actually not too bad.
No.
If you drive it in that pretty narrow window where it's happy and not working too hard.
Which is the same for most.
Yeah, most engines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in its happy place, they'll tick along. Be pretty good.
Comparison will be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get to that down the track. Now, the next thing we did to Beast was to strip her out, which doesn't sound like a big job, but it actually is a big job.
Yeah, so here's a little bit of stripping out. All right, well, this is where we get serious, Hardy. This is where the cordless drills come in handy.
This is where we do things like this, just out. We are stripping. We are stripping
the beast. Because basically it has come to us in a sort of position that is pretty much original condition. We've got to get this baby back to nothing so we can rip the engine out and just do something with it, modernise it. This, gone.
No, this gas bottle joined on, but we'll get rid of it.
Careful.
Okay, sorry. Too excited.
Funny setup here. We've got fuel tank there, 200 litres, as well as on the floor. So I think what we'll do is extend that one once we get the engine out.
We're going to need, how much fuel do we need?
300 litres as a minimum.
300? Let's go 350.
All right. Water. I don't think, Hardy, we need to worry too much about water and, cooking and live aboard.
No, we're going to fish out
It's
of
a
it.
fishing boat.
Yeah. I think we designed this bit last in here.
Okay.
Eskies, ice boxes, seats, that sort of thing, but
last.
Let's worry about
what we can do. Put this
just sort of carefully put that over there. We could sell this fuel tank
Yeah.
to some person. I don't know who, but Someone would buy it.
That water tank's stainless.
It's stainless. We should use that stainless
Yeah.
to create. I'm not sure what.
Something else. Probably don't throw this.
Why?
Don't explode. For sale. Fuel tank.
With fuel. Alright, it really only took a day or so, and we have stripped the guts out of the beast. There was one bit that was a little bit too big and complicated for us, Tykes, and that was the engine.
Yeah, but I don't think it was that. We found a bloke who
Yeah.
had a forklift and a big chain,
Find a
and
bloke.
you know,
Easy, 2 bolts.
2 bolts there, a few there, and out she comes.
Yeah.
Now, irrespective of what other benefits you get from having a nice Yamaha outboard
Yeah.
bolted onto the back of this thing, getting rid of that engine from the boat is brilliant.
Huge big engine box here before. Now there's nothing. There's a hole, but we'll fill that in. And the fishing and workspace that you get is...
It makes it a big boat.
yeah, it does. It's a very big boat now.
Now, next time on Unleash the Beast, what we have to do is take it to
Yep.
someone who knows about fiberglass,
Yep.
where they will build something on the back here to which we can bolt a very large,
Yes.
very powerful V8 outboard.
These are some of the old cushions and seats that we've pulled out of the beast, and just while Nick's away getting fiberglassed up, I thought, well, we could make these, we could give these a facelift. Instead of throwing them away, you just take it to the upholsterer and they can work their magic for not a very big cost. It's actually a good tip. If you've got an old boat that looks a bit raggedy on the inside, you can just get it all re-vinyled and it comes up as good as new.
What I reckon about the stripping out phase is, it is the point of a project boat which fills you with false confidence.
Yes.
Because I reckon the stripping out process is pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, bzz, bzz, pull stuff out, chuck it over, bzz,
Yeah, right.
it all comes apart. You know, and literally a boat like that, a day or two,
Yeah.
she's all stripped out. And you think, well, that's pretty easy. You know, it'll go back together much the same way.
Yes.
It doesn't.
No.
It really, really doesn't.
No.
The
we've
pulling
just
to
spent,
bits.
We've just spent months doing another project boat, putting things back in
And,
ourselves.
you know, every self-tapper that you take out, and little bolt and nut,
Yeah.
you know, is a moment to take out, but potentially half an hour to put in. Anyway. doesn't matter.
The thing that really struck me though with stripping original Beast was once the engine was removed, and again we should have filmed that, but back in the day we didn't. We had a man just pull it out.
Yeah.
We did sell it.
Yes.
Sold it to your
a
mate. Yeah.
A mate of mine.
Was a mate.
Mates like me. Who needs enemy?
But you can resell them.
Yep.
This boat had 2 of them in it. We sold them for you know $3 or $4 grand or something.
That one, which was relatively, you know, new, not many hours, you know, I think it maybe had 200 hours.
Only sunk once.
Only sunk once,
Yep.
but had a Bravo 2 drive, you know, big counter-rotating props and all that sort of
Yep.
stuff. Sold to my mate for $7 grand,
Yeah.
which you couldn't buy it for $7 grand, I don't think.
Well, that's why they resell very well, because
Yeah.
even someone will buy one for parts, because
Yeah,
parts
yeah.
for those things.
Nightmare.
Yeah, so you're better
so-
off just buying a whole another engine. out
Yeah,
there
so
for-
something will break in the leg, and you'll
Yeah.
go to the dealer, and they'll say, "Yeah, well, that's $3,500 to replace that bit." Right.
Yeah.
That's not very good. That's
No.
kind of why they get run down a bit. You know, when
Yes.
they're looked after by people like me who are scrimping and saving. So yeah, something to be aware of.
Yeah, so the stern drive sold, and the transformation for me, as soon as that was out, the space that you get at the back of the boat is amazing. So, you know, the big engine box is there 1 minute, it is gone the next, and you can then see how good a fishing boat this is going to be with all that extra deck space.
The other crazy thing about that boat, and all of those 23-foot Bertrams that came out with fly bridges,
Yep.
so the engine's at the back, so you can't put fuel there.
Yes.
Then you put a bit of fuel. That boat, and all of those boats had, I think, 130-litre fuel tank in them, because then you have a little step down into the cabin, because you need to give a bit of room in the cabin. So tiny little fuel tank. Ours had that other alloy tank, or
Great
whatever
big
it was.
homemade thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because you can't have 130 litres, that's pointless.
pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't go anywhere.
No. So, you know, that was something else that you get to fix by having all that
massive fuel tank in it.
spot
Yeah.
where the engine was.
Right, well, the next time then that we join the Beast journey, we take her to our fiberglass man and we talk about putting on a pod, a hull extension, and all the do's and don'ts with that.
Yes, I even got a naval architect involved. Very exciting.
Very high end.
If
Very
you're
high.
enjoying, you know, these sort of more extended looks at project boats, we've got a heap more of this stuff to come. A decade's worth of doing up old boats.
Yep.
So please subscribe, like, share, do whatever you got to do, and we will see you next time.